There is a hotel sitting on the coast of Dubai right now. A billion-dollar superyacht frozen in steel and glass, staring out at an Arabian Gulf that almost nobody is swimming in anymore. Its 11 restaurants are barely filling tables. Its private marina berths are idle. Its 386 sea-facing rooms, with their 4-meter-high ceilings and 11-meter-wide floor-to-ceiling windows, are catching the light of a sun that is shining on almost no guests at all. This hotel is the Jumeirah Marsa Al Arab. It opened in March 2025 to the sound of global applause. 14 months later, it has become one of the most powerful symbols of everything that has gone catastrophically wrong in Dubai, a city that spent decades convincing the world it was untouchable, indestructible, immune to the chaos of the region surrounding it. And then, in the space of just 7 days in late February and early March of 2026, 80,000 hotel reservations vanished. Not across weeks. Not across months. 7 days. To understand why, this is not just a story about a hotel. This is a story about the fragility of ambition. This is a story about what happens when you build the tallest, the boldest, the most expensive dream in the world, and then reality shows up without a reservation. To understand why the collapse of Dubai's tourism sector in 2026 is so staggering, you have to understand how astronomically high the city had climbed before it fell. In 2025, Dubai welcomed approximately 19.59 million international overnight visitors. That number was not an accident. It was not luck. It was the result of a calculated, decades-long obsession with transformation, turning a desert fishing village into one of the world's most recognizable luxury destinations. Tourism contributed nearly $70 billion to the UAE economy in 2025 alone. That represented nearly 12% of national GDP and a 22% increase over pre-pandemic 2019 levels. Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest hub for international passenger. 95.2 million travelers in 2025. The city wasn't just thriving, it was breaking its own records. And right at the peak of that momentum, Jumeirah Group decided the time had come to complete something extraordinary. The Jumeirah Marsa Al Arab was conceived as the final jewel in a trilogy. For over 2 decades, the coastline in Jumeirah had been defined by 2 icons, the Jumeirah Beach Hotel and, rising behind it like a sail against the skyline, the Burj Al Arab, the property that helped define ultra-luxury hospitality. Together, they told the world what Dubai meant: excess made elegant, fantasy made real. But there had always been a gap, a space waiting to be filled. In 2017, Dubai Holding announced that this gap would become something that wouldn't just match the Burj Al Arab's legacy, but redefine it. The architect chosen was Sean Killa, the visionary behind the Museum of the Future. His brief: design a structure that would complete the trilogy while announcing a new era. What he created was a hotel inspired by the world's great superyachts, its sweeping form resembling a vessel poised to sail into the Arabian Gulf. Construction began in 2019. It was delayed, then delayed again. The pandemic hit. Supply chains broke. But the building kept rising. And when it finally opened on March 14, 2025, the world noticed. Rooms started at 4,587 dirhams per night. The property featured 386 rooms and suites, 4 penthouse residences, and 83 luxury serviced apartments. It housed 11 restaurants, each designed to represent a different culinary world. The Talise Spa alone covered 3,500 square meters across 3 levels. Before it even opened, its penthouses had already shattered records. 2 sold for a combined 706 million dirhams. 1 alone sold for 420 million, the most expensive apartment in Dubai at the time. This was the crown jewel. The symbol of Dubai's confidence. And then February 28, 2026 arrived. Geopolitical crises don't announce themselves politely. They don't knock. They break the door down. A major military escalation in the region triggered waves of retaliation. Ballistic missiles and drones launched across the Gulf. The UAE intercepted most of them. But interception doesn't mean invisibility. The skies lit up. Debris fell. The world watched. Within days, global travel advisories escalated. Flights were suspended. Insurance clauses triggered automatic cancellations. And that's when the numbers turned devastating. 80,000 hotel bookings in Dubai were cancelled in 1 week. Short-term rental cancellations surged into the hundreds of thousands. Hotel occupancy collapsed from nearly 90% to barely 20% in days, and then dropped further. Flights stopped. Cruise ships cancelled routes. Airports slowed to near paralysis. The region began losing hundreds of millions of dollars per day in tourism revenue. Dubai alone was absorbing a massive share of that loss. Hotels that had once been full were suddenly silent. And in the middle of it all sat the Jumeirah Marsa Al Arab. A hotel that had waited years to open. That had survived delays, a pandemic, and enormous expectations, only to face a collapse it could never have planned for. Its restaurants, designed for global elites, now operated at a fraction of capacity. Its spa stood nearly empty. Its marina held yachts going nowhere. It had been built for a world that suddenly paused. The deeper impact spread far beyond luxury hotels. Dubai's economy runs on movement, tourists, shoppers, business travelers. When that flow stops, everything feels it. Malls saw foot traffic collapse. Restaurants lost up to 80% of revenue. Workers were placed on unpaid leave. Some businesses shut down entirely. The $70 billion tourism engine that powered the UAE economy wasn't just a statistic. It was livelihoods, thousands of businesses and hundreds of thousands of workers. And suddenly, that engine stalled. For decades, Dubai built its identity on a powerful idea, that it was different. That while the region around it faced instability, Dubai was a safe, stable, global sanctuary. And for years, that idea worked. But 2026 exposed something deeper, a vulnerability that had always existed beneath the surface. Because when global perception shifts, it doesn't matter how strong your brand is. When flights stop and advisories rise, the world responds instantly. The illusion of complete insulation was broken. That doesn't mean Dubai won't recover. Its history shows resilience. Its infrastructure and global connections remain powerful. But recovery takes time. Confidence takes time. Even when crises end, perception lingers. And that brings us back to the Jumeirah Marsa Al Arab. A billion-dollar masterpiece. Architecturally stunning. Strategically placed. Perfectly timed, until it wasn't. It now stands as a reminder of something bigger than itself. That no matter how ambitious the vision, no matter how perfect the execution, there are forces no city can fully control. Its restaurants will fill again. Its marina will welcome yachts again. Its rooms will host guests again. But the questions raised in 2026 will linger. How much of Dubai's success depended on the assumption of permanent safety? How quickly can global confidence return once it's shaken? And what happens when a city built on stability faces instability? The Jumeirah Marsa Al Arab doesn't answer those questions. It simply stands there, silent, waiting. A monument not just to ambition, but to its fragility.